Colleagues, welcome back. We hope you found the workshop sessions engaging and valuable. This afternoon's session is presented by the USHCC Educational Fund, Paths for HBEs in Today's Challenging Markets and Creating the Future for Business Growth. We'll present a panel discussion with moderator Monika Mantilla from Altura Capital, Kathleen Martinez with BP, Rosa Santana from the Santana Group, Daniel Galindo of Woodforest Bank, and Mark Madrid of the Latino Business Action Network. And now, a word from our signature and platinum sponsors.
It's an honor to be with you today and welcome you to the U.S. Hispanic Chamber of Commerce Virtual National Conference. First of all, on behalf of the team at American Airlines, thank you for your partnership. I'm super proud to work for a company that supports diverse organizations that are making an impact in the business community. Our national dialogue about diversity, equity, and inclusion has increased and improved in recent weeks, but I'm exceedingly grateful and especially proud to be affiliated with all of you and your organizations that recognize that progress requires action as well as discussion. Here at American Airlines, we dedicate money, advantage miles, and volunteer hours to the U.S. Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Our support for diverse organizations and our initiatives in the diversity, equity, and inclusion space are important to me personally and to us as a company. Over the past few years, we've taken steps to increase our focus on DEI, including hiring our first Inclusion and Diversity Officer. We've established the company's Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion to ensure we propagate best practices across the business. We've delivered implicit bias training to more than 100,000 team members, and we've created a dedicated customer relations team to resolve complaints related in any way to discrimination. In fact, American Airlines was recently named to the Diversity Best Practices Inclusion Index, which recognizes top companies engaging in effective practices of diversity and inclusion. This is the first time American's been named to the DVP Inclusion Index. We're proud of this achievement, but we recognize that our work is far from done. We have much to do, much that we can improve upon, and I'm grateful for the examples that many of your companies are contributing. And while we continue to evolve our diversity and inclusion initiatives, this year we also had to evolve our business model. We had to find new ways to serve customers and generate revenue. For the first time in more than 30 years, we began operating cargo-only flights to move critical goods that support the global economy. Since March, these flights have delivered more than 80 million pounds of critical goods around the world amidst the coronavirus outbreak. Our team members put on their uniforms and came to work each day to make that possible. Many of these flights delivered masks, gloves, gowns, and medical supplies, COVID test kits, and some of the early medical trial samples, as well as electronics and telecom equipment that was critical to enabling people to be productive and work from home and keep the global economy moving. This month alone, American Airlines will operate more than 1,000 cargo-only flights, delivering essential goods to and from dozens of destinations around the world. We also evolved the way we clean our aircraft to give customers peace of mind when they travel with us. We partnered with Vanderbilt University Medical Center to provide guidance on health matters and cleaning procedures. Our Clean Commitment provides enhanced cleaning protocols at check-in, in the lounges, in the boarding area, on board our aircraft, and throughout the travel journey. We're the first airline to begin treating our planes with SurfaceWise 2, a breakthrough coating that provides long-lasting protection and kills viruses on all surfaces. The world never stops, and while there's an obvious and ongoing need for innovation and reinvention, nothing is so important as how we work together, how we care for one another, and the opportunities that we create for people in the communities that we serve. So for that, I'm so pleased to have the opportunity to be here to join with you in this effort. Thank you to the U.S. Hispanic Chamber of Commerce for your continued partnership, and to each of you for all you're doing to create opportunities for Latinos to make sure our voices are heard and businesses can thrive. Thank you.
Buenas tardes y bienvenidos a todos. Good afternoon and welcome everyone. It is my distinct honor to be here with you today as a newly appointed USHCC Board of Directors member. On behalf of Toyota, thank you for attending this session on a topic that has had a lot of focus in recent months: diversity and inclusion. At Toyota, we have a long-held commitment to diversity and inclusion, reflective of our communities and our customers' expectations. This commitment is grounded in the Toyota way: respect for people and continuous improvement. We celebrate diversity in everything we do. We strive to make the workplace marketplace, society, and the world a better place by living what we value: equality, respect, and inclusive treatment of all people. Our nation cannot truly advance until the playing field is level, ensuring everyone has equal opportunity. And it's up to each one of us to do what we can to accomplish that. At Toyota, our North Star is to diversify our supplier base to reflect our team members, our customers, and the communities we serve. We want to work with minority-owned businesses, and we want them to be successful. I am proud to say that Toyota has been a leader in programs to encourage and qualify minority-owned firms. We have programs to develop minority-owned suppliers in everything from automotive parts to dealerships, and sometimes we even go beyond that. When we chose San Antonio, Texas to locate our truck manufacturing plant back in 2000, there were no local companies making parts we needed. So we went to 5 local Hispanic business leaders and asked if they were interested in doing business with us. None had experience in the automotive industry, but we trained them. Rosa Santana is one of them. Her company, Forma Automotive, manufactures truck beds, and she became our first Latina-owned direct Tier 1 supplier. Another example, 20% of the construction of our $1 billion headquarters in Plano, Texas, was accomplished by Latino contractors. These successful partnerships all resulted from connections with local chambers of commerce. This is why chambers of commerce and the USHCC are so important for networking, advocacy, or just information. You have no better business partner than the USHCC and its member chambers. Toyota has been proud to stand shoulder to shoulder with the USHCC for the past 30 years, and we look forward to the next 30 years of our partnership. Thank you, and as always, vayamos juntos.
In 2020, we are celebrating the 35th anniversary of our Economic Inclusion and Supplier Diversity Program. Celebrating this anniversary is not just acknowledging a milestone, it's an opportunity to change the narrative. This program is at the epicenter of Merck's inclusive procurement practices. Here at Merck, we know that productivity comes from people.
Through the spend that we have with our diverse and small business enterprises, we help to create jobs, earnings, and overall economic impact. We are committed to our Economic Inclusion and Supplier Diversity Program. It is important that our supply chain consists of small, medium, and large suppliers to bring a balance to the various issues that we all face.
I am Celia Quadris, and I'm the founder MD of Atlegence Private Limited.
Robert Williams, and I am the president and CEO of Slate Belt Safety.
Inclusion is embracing everyone's differences.
Inclusion is a workplace where we're all treated equally.
Supplier diversity and economic inclusion begins with me.
Economic impact begins with me.
Empowerment begins with me.
It begins with me.
Hello, my name is Monika Mantilla. I am the chair of the United States Hispanic Chamber of Commerce Educational Fund. The USHCC Educational Fund is dedicated to accelerating the USHCC vision to build capacity and scale Hispanic businesses through innovative capital and procurement solutions, through strong business ecosystems, through strategic alliances and research, and through leadership and workforce development and training. We aim to drive economic prosperity for our community and our country in a meaningful way. And we aim to substantially narrow the $1.4 trillion parity of capital gap for Hispanic business owners. We understand that market segmentation based on size, stage of development, growth potential, and the ability to seize that potential is key to delivering our value. We also understand that it is imperative to be architects of our own solutions. We need your support to achieve significant scale in our solutions and in the execution of our own architecture. Our goal is to partner with all key stakeholders, from corporations to government and foundations. Our invitation is for you and your organizations to allocate more financial and human capital resources to help us build this architecture. Partner with us. Let's build this together. For more information on partnering, volunteering, or donating to the Educational Fund, please visit our website at ushcceducationalfund.org. 2020 marks a great beginning and a reset for our educational fund and our foundation, and we look forward to seeing what the future holds together. Thank you.
Esteemed colleagues and honored guests, please welcome our moderator, USHCC board member and the president and CEO of Altura Capital, Monika Mantilla.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We are here to talk about the vision and the next steps of the USHCC Educational Fund. I have the honor to chair this important organization. And as you heard through the video we just shared with you, our goal is to accelerate the USHCC vision to build capacity and scale Hispanic businesses through innovative capital and procurement solutions, through building strong business ecosystems, through strategic alliances and research, and through leadership and workforce development and training. And all we want to do is drive economic prosperity for our community and for our country. Our goal, as you heard on the video, is also to narrow this very concerning 1.4 trillion parity of capital gap for Hispanic business owners. And we understand that segmenting our market based on size of businesses, on industry, on stage of development, on growth potential, and the ability to seize this potential is key to our ability to deliver value. And we also understand, as you heard on the video, that we need to be architects of our own solutions, and we need you to support our work so that we can continue on this road to be architects of our own solutions. So our invitation is for you to join us on our work to help us think big and do big. And I now would like to introduce you to my fellow panelists and USHCC educational board members and partners. Kathleen Martinez is the Senior Director of National Strategic Relationships at BP America, and she's also the Executive Director at BP Global Foundation. Thank you, Kathleen, for joining us today. Great to have you. We also have my dear colleague and fellow board member at both the Inc. at the Educational Fund, Rosa Santana. Rosa is the founder and chief executive officer of Santana Group, a wonderful trailblazer, Latina entrepreneur. Thank you for being us today, Rosa. And Danielle Galindo is also here with us today. Danielle is the Senior Vice President, Director of the CRA Program and Strategic Initiatives at Woodforest National Bank, also a trailblazer, Latino who knows finance. So those are my favorite ones. So thank you, Danielle, for being with us here today and for all you do at the foundation. And last but definitely not least, my dear friend and wonderful leader, Mark Madrid, CEO of the Latino Business Action Network and the Stanford Latino Entrepreneurship Initiative, a nonprofit 501c3 organization, which I have the honor and pleasure of being in the board as well. It's an organization focused on strengthening America through funding Latino research and education impact programs at Stanford University. I want to extend to you all a warm welcome and my deepest gratitude to all you fellow board members at the foundation, because you all are resetting and are creating this vision of what we can and should be in America, and what is the programmatic backbone that we together will build to ensure that our business owners have all the best ability to be architects of their own solutions, to design a path of growth and prosperity. So let's jump in. First of all, Kathleen, why don't you start us off? Let me begin by asking you, why do you think our work is so critical? And why is this such a critical time for the USHCC to launch and reset on our foundational work and with the USHCC Educational Fund?
Well, first of all, thank you, Monika, and thanks you to the USHCC for all the tremendous work that they do on behalf of small businesses and Latino HBEs across the United States. This is very important work. At BP, I have the distinct pleasure of having a dual role, which is I work on the corporate side in strategic relationships, like our partnership with the USHCC and many others, as well as our educational initiatives. And then I also have the opportunity to lead the operational efforts as executive director of our BP Global Foundation, which is very, very key. Both of these are very important parts of the work that we're going to do at BP. And your question takes me back to the year we've had. COVID has put a tremendous amount of pressure on our small businesses across the United States, and Latino-owned businesses have experienced tremendous impact from this. But we also know that there has been just historical discrepancies and in that digital divide and the divide for capital access. So I think right now is a great time, and it's a moment for us through the Educational Fund, which I'm so blessed to be a part of through the board, to reset. We have a wonderful United States Hispanic Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors, and the work that the USHCC does is very important. But as a dual board and philanthropic and corporate member, I want to make sure that our audience is aware of the difference between the work that the USHCC will do on behalf of our Latino-owned businesses and the work that the USHCC Educational Fund will do on behalf of Latino-owned businesses. The 501c6, which is our chamber, Monika, is very much involved in policy and advocacy and a lot of the work to move our Latino-owned businesses forward, to make sure that they are represented in legislative agendas, that they're present on the regional and national scope from an advocacy regulation perspective. The 501c6, the 501c3, which is the foundation, is going to be doing the programmatic work. So we're going to be doing hand in hand with the USHCC. So we're very much aligned. But it's really important that we're doing the programmatic work, the support, the programs, the educational efforts. We know that there is not a one size fits all for small businesses to advance. My colleagues will tell you that. Rosa, I'm sure, will be able to share quite a bit on that. So we want to make sure that we understand the needs of small businesses and that the Educational Fund is prepared to roll out programs and initiatives to help our small businesses build capacity and be prepared for that next step at whatever stage they are in their life cycle. This is very important to BP. It's the core of who we are. And so we want to make sure that we're supporting the chamber. And so we've got people engaged. We talk about human capital and financial investment. We do both, and we're really happy to do that. But we're also learning from the USHCC and some of our other partners about how we can grow together and do better and do more. So I think right now is a great time for a reset. I think now is the time for all of us to be working together, to be clear in our vision from an educational fund, to have clarity in our vision and direction and alignment in our governance, to make sure that we're supporting and working hand in hand with the USHCC to move this agenda forward, because it is important to all of us, and we know it, and it's important to the U.S. economy. So I'm really just excited to be here and hear from our colleagues as well.
Thank you, Kathleen. Great words. And I think that your experience as, leading the board, the foundation of BP is incredibly useful for the Educational Fund. And so thank you for being one of us. Thank you for working with us. We appreciate immensely your support and the support of BP and the Educational Fund. I'm now going to turn it over to Rosa. Rosa, let's talk about success. You are a trailblazer as a Latina business owner, as a Tier 1 Toyota supplier, as an advocate for other Latino and Latina business owners to grow and to scale. Can you please talk about how you're hoping to launch a model for others to follow, right? Like, I think your success story is one that many wish to emulate. And tell us about that vision of taking your success story and the success story of other Hispanic businesses to be an example as we aim to grow and provide more success to more Latino entrepreneurs. And thank you, Rosa, for joining us today.
Of course. Thank you. Thank you, Monika. And thank you to my fellow panelists. We at the USHCC and I, as a part of this wonderful board of directors, are hoping that you all are enjoying this conference. Carlos Becerra, muchas gracias for your kind introduction earlier. And again, Monika, thank you. It's incredible how impactful a network of support can be for the growth of any small business. My own was no exception, and I'd like to share some of that story with everyone today. As you know, Monika, 5 years ago, I became the first Hispanic woman direct Tier 1 supplier to Toyota. Toyota hired me to assemble truck beds for their award-winning Tacoma truck. We formed an entirely new company to do this work and to do work of manufacturing. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, women can build trucks. You see, it took 10 years of relationship building at all levels with Toyota, in addition to proving ourselves as a second-tier supplier of staffing services, not of manufacturing services, before we were even invited to supply Toyota directly. And it all really started 16 years ago through a mentoring relationship with one of Toyota's Tier 1 suppliers, who was partnered with a minority-owned company here in San Antonio. When we participated in this, or when we were asked to participate in this mentoring program, it was an 18-month program. And as you're building a business, you can imagine 18 months may seem like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. 18 months is a long time. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm really glad I did it, because had I not done it, I might not be sitting right here in front of you all. I ended up doing business with that joint venture partner. And as a result, I met many of the folks at Toyota. So I think sometimes we are afraid to do or to participate in events or programs that might take a lot of our time without realizing what the true payback will be, right? So throughout the following 10 years and still today, we attend local, regional, and national events and conferences like this one, NMSDC's conference as well, and WeBank's events and conferences, to name a few, where we often met with Toyota supplier diversity and purchasing leaders that became our internal advocates inside of Toyota. Think about that. They became our internal advocates inside of Toyota. And folks, this is really hard work. These trusted relationships with these advocates are not formed overnight. These advocates look out for opportunities inside of their companies where they see potential for companies like mine or like yours. So we went from providing human capital services to providing outsourced assembly services in our own manufacturing plant that we named Forma Automotive here in San Antonio, Texas. Most days, we assemble 500 Tacoma truck beds. And less than 4 years later, we expanded into Mexico to build even more Tacoma truck beds. So imagine, women are building truck beds for the best truck in America, at least I think so, and I believe many think so. We can't even keep them in the dealerships. So since then, I'd like to share that we've diversified yet again. And this also occurred because of a client need. We now provide bilingual customer support and BPO services through Aveana, our customer contact and BPO services company. I share this story with you all because I truly believe that through programs like those that our educational fund supports and our USHCC delivers, Hispanic businesses can achieve so much. As I've shared, we were able to grow our business to what it is today through a lot of hard work and with the help of Toyota, their suppliers, and other mentors who shared their expertise and helped us scale. The new initiatives of the Education Fund are no different and include supporting businesses through specific programs for companies of different sizes. As we grow, we have different needs. We have different capital needs. We have different resource needs. So we look forward to putting together these programs that we will bring to companies of different sizes. We know that one size does not fit all, and we look forward to developing these programs to help all of you scale. And very importantly, and something that's near and dear to my heart, we must lean in and help one another. We must lift other business owners as we climb, and we must buy from each other. Buy from each other. I know I can't sell you all a truck bed, but I can sell you part of the truck that you're going to end up buying from Toyota. So think about it in one way, shape, or form. You're supporting an MBE. Yes. So thank you all so much. And Monika, I'll turn it back over.
Thank you, Rosa. Fabulous words. Really appreciate your remarks and this concept of building relationships, right? And building an ecosystem and being a support system for each other. Love those remarks. And so we've talked about how we are shifting and innovating programs. So now let's talk about everyone's favorite topic, right? Money. How do you business owners access those funds, both debt and equity, to get them to the next level of growth? Access to capital is usually a synonym for loans, and people think that going to a bank is the only resource available. And we know that it definitely isn't, that there's a wide ecosystem of capital providers beyond banks. So Danielle, what are the different types of resources in which an entrepreneur can tap into, and the vast ecosystem around capital and technical assistance? I know that you and your bank have been incredibly innovative with many products and solutions, and being also a developer of ecosystems so that the businesses can get to know each other, can nurture from each other, and can get to know what resources are available to them. So share with us some of your thoughts, Danielle, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Monika. It is great to be here with you, and just blessed to work with so many talented individuals outside and inside of the bank, of the institution that I so proudly represent. A big thank you to Ramiro Cavazos and his staff for an excellent virtual conference, allowing us the opportunity to connect and bring, in essence, right, resources during this and all the other seminars that they've hosted online, and just reaching a new audience. So very, very thankful for that and their work. To the board of directors for having us and for really shaping the strategy at the foundation, and then of course at the USHCC level. Monika, you touch on access to capital as being a huge component of being an entrepreneur. And I think we start with access to capital, and everybody thinks, you know, the bank or a credit union is the only source of capital. And we're very proud to say that at the Woodforest, not only do we offer a diverse amount of products for consumers, but we know that we can help everyone, right? Just like every bank out there. And so we've invested millions of dollars into creating an ecosystem that is robust enough, that is able to meet the needs of the entrepreneur, whether you're starting out with a $500 loan or you're needing $12 million, right? And we do so through various vehicles. Of course, the bank is one. We invest heavily in community development financial institutions, CDFIs. They're becoming more known, but they're not yet known the way they should, especially in our minority communities. And so at the bank, we're very focused on continuing to drive that forward, continuing to provide the capital that the CDFIs need, both from the equity and the lending side, in order to ensure there's plenty of capital for HBEs in particular. In other minority groups, working very closely with SBICs, right? Small business investment companies. These are companies like Google, Facebook, right? They all used in the early stages of the business cycle, but they're often very underutilized by Hispanic-owned firms and other minorities, and mainly due to lack of awareness and lack of understanding. So through the foundation, we're going to ensure that HBEs that are working with the foundation and USHCC, that they become aware of all the tools that are available to them through a resource campaign. Opportunity zones, right? We've heard a lot about opportunity zones, the good, the bad, the ugly. You know, you can form your own opinion, but what I will say is we're very intentional about investing in opportunity zones that are driving the needs of the community forward. And so every opportunity zone that we've made takes into account community and is driven by community, whether it's real estate development or other. Opportunity zones also now allow for operating businesses to be able to part into that equity. So as a bank, we've invested in an opportunity zone that is focused in operating businesses, and we're very happy to be one of the first banks to do so. And then there's private equity, right? And then there's special purpose vehicles, all these other type of funds, if you will, that are part of the ecosystem that are driving HBEs forward and other minorities. That again, I think the understanding around those different type of vehicles, it's not yet widely known. And so how can we change that for our community? We had and it's not necessarily an experiment, but in San Antonio, Texas, we introduced the first SBIC a few years ago that was focused primarily on HBEs. How do we promote, SBIC capital within the city? And we had some success, but we also had a lot of education to do, right? Because I think just Latino community in general thinks that an SBIC or any other private equity firm is there to buy you out. And it's not necessarily the case, right? They're there to help you grow. They're there to take you to the next level. They're there to provide you with the technical resources that you need. And more than anything, they're there to connect you with supplier diversity, right? Toyota and many others throughout. And so when we think, again, on the continuum of capital I don't personally, right, I don't think there's a shortage of capital. It's knowing what type of capital is needed at the business level that you're in or the business cycle that you're at any given point. So if you're starting up a business, a CDF5, it's a great tool, right? If you are going to acquire your competitor and you need $1 million and the bank's not able to do it, an SBIC, a rural business investment company, can also help you. So it's just identifying the different sources, the different pots of capital in order for us to be able to scale that business in the proper way. There's a component at the bank also, and I'm just going to go on a tangent here, but it's very important. So it's not just capital, it's procurement, right? And then of course it's the training development. At the bank, we launched the Woodforest Foundry several years ago here in San Antonio. It is now in 5 different cities. We're moving a lot of it to a virtual setup to where we can reach more audience a lot quicker. And also responding to the environment that we're in. And so we believe that access to mentorship, entrepreneurship is paramount to scale that business, right? You can put a lot of capital in the hands of an entrepreneur, but sometimes having that mentor that's holding them accountable and having that mentor that's going to open that new door for them, and Rosa and others can attest to this, it becomes critical to the success of the HBE. And so through the Foundry, we're ensuring that these businesses have access to the capital, to the resources, to the mentorship that they need in order for them to be able to scale up. I recently read a quote from the Kaufman Foundation, and I can leave with this and answer any questions you may have, but I think we probably have read this at some point, but I find this very interesting because the opportunity, it's just phenomenal. So the Kaufman Foundation found that over 50% of existing Fortune 500 companies were started during a recession. And so if you think about that for a moment, right, the amount of opportunity that we have within this country, but as Latinos, it's phenomenal, right? And I think it is incumbent upon us to ensure that other people understand what it takes to open up a business, the entrepreneurial DNA is there, right? Oftentimes they're lacking the how do I do this? So I believe that through the foundation, we'll be able to bring about the change that is needed in not only the access to capital, the resources. There's a lot of great programs that the foundation is running now. And thank you to Wells Fargo and others that are promoting accelerator type of programs. And so I think we will need to have and be more intentional on these products and services that we can offer our community.
Thank you, Danielle. Great remarks. Like, everyone has added so much value in painting this picture, right, of whether it's the right governance, the right best practices, the right trailblazers, the right capital solutions. And of course, research is the ultimate amplifier and the ultimate backing to be able to achieve all of these goals. And before I pass it on to Mark, I want to mention a number that, in my estimation, speaks volumes of the type of opportunity that we have at hand. If we only count the members of the $1 Billion Roundtable, that are around 28 corporations, some of the largest corporations in America, the estimation of value creation that can come about if they seize correctly supplier diversity and capital is around $600 billion. So this is not a sideline opportunity. This is not an aftermath. This is not just, let's be good with minority communities. This is mainstream, right? These are the type of solutions that we need to think about visualizing and putting together. And we're going to need great partners on this. And we envision the collaboration with the Stanford Latino Entrepreneurship and LBAN to be an incredibly important one, because LBAN has developed such valuable research around who we are and who we aim to be. So Mark, welcome to the conversation. Thank you for the partnership. And we're really proud to partner with the Latino Business Action Network. And we'd love you to share a bit about LBAN and how we are working together to scale Hispanic businesses, and tell us a bit about your research report. And we hope to, after this conversation, send links to everyone so everybody gets to read the phenomenal research that you all put together. So welcome, Mark. Thank you for being with us today. And by the way, Rosa and I are on your board, for everyone, those that don't know that they know. And so we're all in this together, and big welcome, Mark. And tell us a little bit about LBAN and your latest research. And thank you for joining us today.
Across the country, welcome. We're so delighted to be with you all today, that you took time on a Monday to choose to be with us. And we invite you to keep sharing and creating watch parties. Come in when you can. We know you're running families and businesses and who knows what, that you might be Zoom bombed or whatever else, but keep coming back. Keep coming back. And I'd like to take a moment just for everybody to give a virtual applause to the USHCC team led by Ramiro Cavazos, and everything that they're doing behind the radar, on the radar, beyond the radar, and of course, by extension, the Board of Directors and the USHCC Educational Fund. And my goodness, I couldn't be in better company with Monika opening up with the why, Kathleen connecting all the dots. Rosa, there's nothing like testimony, and Danielle talking about the how with capital. So I want to start off with the most exciting research available, coming predominantly from the Stanford Latino Entrepreneurship Initiative. But I'll just reinforce something that just came out 2 days ago. It's been 3 now, from the Latino Donor Collaborative. Between 2017 and 2018, US Latinos have the fastest growing GDP in the world, in the entire world. And now I'm going to unleash some data, which is the most comprehensive in US history, from the Stanford Latino Entrepreneurship Initiative. Here we go. In 1997, there were 1.2 million Hispanic-owned firms. Today, that's north of over 5 million. So that's a 400% increase. Hashtag Latina Power. Did you know that Latinas now constitute 42% of all Latinx businesses and had the fastest growing segment, 7% between 2007 and 2012? And how about millennials? 1 out of 3 Latinx entrepreneurs right now are under the age of 45. So that's a lot of good news. And I'll end with this in terms of data. There's so much more. We're going to share it with you. But last year, I want you, everybody, I'm going to say it slow. I'm on the edge of my seat. But Latinx, in terms of business formations and rate of growth, positive 34%. Everybody else, 1%. That's it. And I just want to give it out to the Stanford Latino Entrepreneurship Initiative, Marlene, Professor Porras, Professor Oyer, Inara, if you're watching, thank you. Of course, the LBAN directors, Jennifer and Elian, but we're all proud of that. You're going to get fully downloadable, shareable reports here in executive summaries. The COVID brief that we just researched also, or that we released, also had some tremendously impactful information, and we're going to send that to you. But here's a problem, right? Latinos got accepted at approved at half the rate of whites on the PPP program. That's a problem. But what the research also says is that we're also just as excited, enduring, and ganas filled when it comes to the expectation of enduring through COVID. So with that said, I'm going to cue up the video to show you more about the Latino Scaling Program at LBAN, and then I'm going to share how that connects the dots with the USHCC Educational Fund and the USHCC. Here's a video about our scaling.
Thank you.
We have a mantra here at LBAN for our alumni group that now is 507 strong. The mantra is very simple. Do business with each other and get business for each other. And it's happening.
Just the energy alone is plenty to learn from. There's so many great entrepreneurs here, and the spirit around us all learning together and helping each other out, paying it forward is amazing.
I'm honored, humbled, and I'm ready to share and listen to the stories and the experiences that this team or this organization has to offer.
Anybody that can have an opportunity to join this program, they should. It's worth the tears and the hard work and the getting up too early.
Our mentors come in and they walk with their mentee throughout the course of that program, really with the sole purpose of seeing them succeed. And that's just extremely valuable.
I found so much value. It turned my business completely around, and it just gave me the courage to go back with a plan.
We had a very open and honest discussion and a trusting relationship we built in a short amount of time. He already knew enough about my industry that he gave me some immediate feedback that already gave me some things to think about.
It truly is a program that as any company is growing and thriving, they should really have that background in mind so that the ride can be a lot more knowledgeable and easier, and we can avoid some of the bumps in the road.
We bring over 50 different capital providers from banks and some of the best venture capital companies here in Silicon Valley. This allows our entrepreneurs to gain access to some of the best capital financing options and have conversations with real capital providers that are interested in giving them capital to scale their business.
And the word is getting out about our secret sauce that includes this organization that is adored by our mentors, our volunteers, our sponsors, of course, our alumni. It's all part of this ecosystem to influence a beneficial narrative of Latinos and Latinas driving the American economy and contributing toward the fabric of American society.
Wow, what an inspiring video. Thank you, Mark, for sharing that with us. That was just beautiful. So I know we're at the close to the end of our time today. And before we leave, I want each one of you in 30 seconds to answer a question. What can people watching at home do to help? So I'm going to start with Kathleen.
Thanks, Monika. I just think that in order for us to be engaged, to help, I think we talked a little bit about where we are in time. So things are changing rapidly, digitally. We're moving ahead with the energy transition. So I am asking local businesses and entrepreneurs and mentors, everyone to engage and make sure that you know what is coming up and how to prepare. And like Rosa said, take advantage. BP made a commitment. We're going to be net zero by 2050. We're going to need a lot of talent and a lot of small businesses to help us get there. So keep your eyes open and keep moving forward.
Thank you, Kathleen. Rosa.
Corporations, please provide funding to us. We need you to get engaged. We need you to become a part of our new U.S. Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and allow us to show you what we can do with your money. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Rosa. Danielle.
I would say become a mentor, create a plan to help the USHCC, the foundation. As I said before, there's plenty of capital, but we need resources to operate, to disseminate the word, bring about awareness and understanding to our communities. And I can guarantee you that the return on that investment, it's phenomenal, right? As Mark says, I think Latino businesses are the economic imperative. So invest in that. Thank you.
Thank you, Danielle. Mark.
Yes, I know I was running short of time, but I have an important slide where I'd like to connect the dots. I hope the studio can bring up a slide at the end of a deck that we have. Please advance.
Yes. That's the ask. That's a good one, Mark.
Here we go, right here. This is the slide. This is why it all matters. We're building a continuity of scale. So if you're dancing well in procurement, we want you to dance even better. If you're just on the edge of grabbing your first RFP, you've been in it for years and saying, what's the point? We want you to stay encouraged. And if you think that this is a North Star to get certified in an actual contract, then we want to build a solution along with our partners at the USHCC and the USHCC Educational Fund. And here it is. We call it the continuity of scale, substantive training programs for those businesses at different levels and providing you a roadmap. That's our purpose. When we stick together, juntos, so much is possible. So along with everybody else and what we said, we got to keep moving forward.
Adelante.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mark. Those are great closing words. My words to corporations would be, help us to think big and to do big. And let us know, give us visibility about the products and services, not only that you need today, but that you will need in the years to come, and make us your partner. Tell us what you need and give us the opportunity to scale our businesses so that with great talent, great capital, and great companies, we can help you be the type of suppliers that we can be for you. And for foundations, whether it's corporate foundations or foundations of family offices, share with us your model and share with us your financial ability and your human capital ability so we can take our vision to where it needs to build significant programmatic solutions so that our business owners can maximize their potential and we can all together close that $1.4 trillion gap. So thank you to each one of you, board member. Thank you to the other board members that didn't participate today, but that are giving us their ideas, their commitment, and their financial contribution so that we can continue on our work. It's a pleasure to be with all of you today. Thank you, dear panelists. You were just terrific. And thank you to Ramiro, to Alice, to Carmen, to all my board leaders, peers at the Inc. and at the Educational Fund. The future is ours. Let's seize it. Thank you. All the best. Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a great day.
Our sincere gratitude to the USHCC Educational Fund for presenting this panel and to our guests. Coming up in just a few moments, the ERG Summit and Challenge Plenary, where you'll be the judge in selecting this year's winner. Many thanks to our generous sponsors who continue to support the work of USHCC.
It's funny. As we start to go places again, maybe we'll find the places we want to go aren't really places at all. They're people. That's why we've been hard at work, making sure you feel confident every step until you get to them. So when you're ready, our people can't wait to take you to yours. You are are why we fly.
Sí, sé que tenemos todos los factores de riesgo.
But we also have all it takes to fight contra el COVID-19.
El coronavirus está afectando a la comunidad latina más rápido que a otros grupos.
Acecha a nuestros miembros más débiles.
With pre-existing conditions like diabetes,
Hipertensión,
y asthma.
And those who can't work from home.
And it's spreading through myths that deceive our community.
El virus es serio y mortal y nuestra respuesta debe ser en serio.
Los remedios caseros no nos van a proteger.
To beat COVID-19.
Hay 4 pasos.
Quédate en casa.
If you have to go to work,
mantén 6 pies de distancia con los demás.
Usa máscara.
And protect your hands.
Lávate esas manos.
Por 20 segundos o más. The more we follow these 4 simple steps,
podremos salvar más amigos y seres queridos.
From COVID-19.
Hashtag nosotros contra el COVID.
Find out how you can fight back at cdc.gov/coronavirus.
Life is busy, so come to Shell and get 3 things done at once. First, fill up with Shell V-Power Nitro Plus to help keep your engine running like new.
Nice.
Then save up with the Fuel Rewards program and never pay full price for gas again.
Oh, wow.
And finally, snack up to save even more at the pump.
That's great.
Make the most of the stop you need to make with Shell.
Wait, there's 3 of me? Awesome.